As soon as page is opened, the timer starts tracking time. The timer is visible on the top bar on both the home window and in the engagement window. To access your timesheet, select Time and Billing and then select Timesheet. If you have had a particularly busy day, you are able to expand the size of the timesheet by dragging on the right-hand corner of the window. If your time was accumulated while working inside an engagement, the time entry will include the name of the engagement and the client. If your time was recorded outside the engagement and in the Client All screen, it will only include the client name and not the engagement. You will have to assign this work to an engagement manually. Orange timeline entries must be dealt with on a daily basis and indicate the time spent outside the engagement and home screen. If the orange timeline entry should be assigned to an engagement already on your timesheet, you can assign it by simply dragging and dropping to the applicable engagement. The system will ask you to confirm the change. In this instance, we will select No to keep the orange line available for other examples. Another alternative for orange lines is selecting the line and assigning the time to a service code. For instance, if you didn't have an engagement for a T5 return to be done for this client and need to assign it accordingly, you can select the service code from the drop-down list under Services. In this instance, you must include a billing message explaining why the billing code is acceptable for this time. You can also increase or decrease the recorded time in the system by editing the hours box. When changes are made, you must select Save. Another way to sort your timesheet is to combine the timeline entries that are already assigned to a specific engagement. In an example where time was assigned to a 2009 compilation engagement, which was used for reference for the 2010 compilation engagement, you can select the line and drag and drop it to 2010 to merge the time. You will be prompted to finalize the merge. If you are working outside the office or away from your desk, you will have to increase the amount of time spent on an engagement. To do this, click on the selected timeline entry, change the hours in the Hours box, and select Save. If it's your company policy to provide a description of time spent on an engagement, you can enter a billing message in the Billing Message box. You can, again, change the time in the Hours box if it is not noted correctly, and click Save to finalize. At the end of the day, your timeline entries should equal the number of hours you have worked on that day. Your company policy will dictate how you account for time not tracked to the timesheet. In this instance, we have 2.5 hours in this particular timesheet. As most staff work 7.5 to 8 hours a day, the timesheet needs to be edited to reflect the hours worked. This might occur if you worked off-site or have taken a client out for lunch. To enter a new timeline entry, select New, select the client from the drop-down list, and provide a description of why the timeline has been added in the billing message box. Enter the number of hours and select Save. If no service code is selected, the system will prompt you to select one, and you can select the applicable service code for the work before finalizing the timesheet. Blue and green timeline entries indicate time spent in an engagement which has already been invoiced. While you cannot delete these entries, you can edit the time. For instance, if you were referencing something inside this bookkeeping engagement, you won't bill for it on that engagement and should change the hours to 0. Because it has been invoiced already, you will be prompted to verify the change. If this was an administrative day, you can increase the time in your admin engagement to ensure your hours are properly reflected for the entire day. Clicking Save, as always, finalizes the changes made. As you can see, anytime a change is made, it is reflected on the total hours worked in a day. Always ensure your total hours equals the numbers you have worked in a day.